Guys, I may have just gotten my hands on the perfect resume. And in this video, I'm gonna be going over it. So let me upload this to my computer and let's have a look. All right, so here it is. We're gonna go over it from top to bottom. I'm not gonna go over every bullet point, but feel free to pause the video if you'd like, but we will be talking about each section individually. So up top, we have the name, obviously, and then we have on the right, the contact info, including the location, your phone number, and email. You wanna have your contact information very visible and easy to find. So right after that, we have our socials. We'd have our LinkedIn here and our GitHub if you have one. And then we have a portfolio. So this can kind of be miscellaneous. Maybe if you have like a personal website, you could put that there. Under that, we have languages and technologies. And notice that this is split into two categories. Proficient at the top. This is going to be the languages, frameworks, and general software tools you're proficient in. I would also put it in order by your strongest and most relevant languages. You want to put things that employers are looking for towards the beginning, like you would have JavaScript here first before you would have something like Gulp. And then we have an exposure section. I like this part because it shows other frameworks you're decent in, or maybe you have an interest to become better at without the fear of being grilled upon it or being asked about it. All right, under that we have the section for professional experience. And this is probably the most important section here for most people. When a recruiter looks at your resume, they're gonna look first at your job titles, and then probably they're gonna just glance at your education, and then they're gonna go over a few bullet points under the most recent job. Obviously, if you have no work experience, you would emphasize more on the later sections that we're gonna go over. But for most people, this will be the meat of their resume. So on the first line, we have the company you worked at, your role or title at that company, the location, and then on the right, you have the dates that you worked there. And as you can see, there are more bullet points on the most recent job, which makes sense. And I want to read you guys the second bullet point here. Solved 200 plus tasks with a client satisfaction of 98% as the highest performing member of the integration team. Now, I just want to pause there and ask you guys, what's something that you guys noticed about this? Well, really for me, it's the 200 and the 98%. And these are called quantifiers because they, well, quantify your work. They give a specific value to the impact that your work has made. And really for me, these numbers just kind of pop out for you if you're reading it, right? It's not all just text. So, I mean, let's even try to read it without the numbers. So we could say solved tasks with client satisfaction as the highest performing member of the integration team. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but it doesn't really show like the actual work that you've done or what the impact of it was. Let's look at the third bullet point. Automated customer reporting system for account management team by developing internal SQL query generating tool using Python, SQL, Hive, and Scala, saving the company about $90,000 annually. And I mean, obviously that 90,000 is what pops out at you on this bullet point. And it's basically saying like my work saved basically 1 year salary for someone. So hopefully you guys can see the power of these quantifiers, and like every single bullet point on this resume has one. Let's go over one more. Increased metadata available for mobile operators by 300% through integrating industry-leading IP intelligence libraries, MaxMind, into existing schema while preserving legacy code written in Java. So again, we have that quantifier, and you talk about legacy code. So, a lot of companies, at least the ones that I've worked at, had a lot of legacy code. So you've proven that you have worked in that environment before. All right, moving on to education. Notice that this only takes a bit of space. And by the way, don't take up unnecessary space on your resumes. You only have like one page to work with. So real estate is prime here. And yes, never make your resume more than one page. Like, repeat after me. I will never make my resume more than one page. And this is mostly because recruiters get so many. Like if they see one that's more than one page, I mean, it just kind of looks amateurish because it's like an unwritten rule that you should just keep it as one page. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So yeah, for education, there's only one line in here for the university, the degree, the dates you attended. Some people like to put their coursework. I think I even have a line for courses on mine, but really the more experience you have, the less relevant this is. I mean, if you're going for like a senior developer role and you have 10 years of experience, no one's gonna really care that you took intro to AI your junior year in college. So you can put that there if you want to, but like I mentioned, you might wanna save that line for something else. All right, next up we have project work. So if you don't have experience or relevant experience, say you're making a career change or maybe you're still in school, this is probably going to be the most important part of your resume. And I would even consider having this section be above your work experience. So we have the project name, your role in the project, maybe a live URL if this is something living out in the wild or in a production environment. And then we have a code URL. So say if this is open source, you can give like the GitHub link to the repository. And these projects can be something you worked on for class, maybe a side project, maybe something you built out during a hackathon, really anything, but just make sure and keep in mind for pretty much everything on your resume, if it's on your resume, it's fair game for the interviewer to ask you questions and kind of really like grill you on it. So let's just go over the first one here. First is just a 1-sentence description of it. Mentorship platform for JavaScript developers to connect with mentors and mentees to give back to the community. And one of the bullet points is wrote 10 plus end-to-end and 70 plus unit tests for client-side components using Protractor, Karma, and Jasmine, resulting in 70% coverage of the code base. So here you have the action that you took, which is writing the unit tests, and you have the effect of that, which is resulted in 70% code coverage. All right, and then finally we have the leadership and awards section. As you see here, it could be something like making the dean's list. Another one could be like winning a hackathon. You could put that you're a part of a club or organization, like a technology club. I like having this section here because it's just at the bottom and it kind of just gives you a way to stand out. And it doesn't have to necessarily be related to academia. I think I used to put that I won the award for most improved on my track and field team. So it gives you an opportunity to express your other interests and sort of humanizes you versus all the other resumes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In my own personal resume, I do like to use the quantifier technique. I feel like it really pops out and I've noticed better results in my job applications. And I'm not gonna lie, it is tough to think of specific numbers, but I mean, it's your resume, right? It's pretty important. So you really just need to take the time once to think of it and it's on there forever. So yeah, that leads us to the question of the day, which is, do you guys think this is the perfect resume or is there something that you would change? Let me know in the comments. And as always, make sure you guys hit that like button if you felt like you got value out of this video. I really do appreciate the support. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And you guys already know, keep on coding.